Hello, hello, hello. We're going to be working on the HTML spec again today. So the show modal steps one was an easy land. But Dominic mentioned raised a new issue about the content structure of the dialogue spec and how we can clean it up. So I think that's what we're going to do. Clean up the HTML spec today. Reorganizing. One really annoying thing about YouTube is that the share button, the share button here, is over here when you start a stream, and then eventually this end stream button pops in. And so oftentimes what I'll do is I'll click the share button, but it will be over here. But as I click the share button, the end stream button will pop in and it will say, "Are you sure you want to end this stream?" 4 seconds after you've started it. And I'm like, no, of course I don't want to end the stream. What I want to do is share it. But you've, for some reason, moved the button. That's my rant about YouTube over. So let's go look at the HTML spec. HTML, multipage, dialogue, element. Let's put this side by side and we can talk about what Dominic is saying here. There's this huge preamble about dialogues before we get to, like, pretty much this, I believe, is non-normative. There's nothing here for specifiers or for implementers, which is fine. Like, the spec has lots of stuff that's like written prose, but as Dominic mentions here, this is the discussion of dialogue and some examples, I believe. There's also example of using a dialogue element was strong, which I guess he's saying is at the bottom. This one. Oh yeah, this is sort of interspersed, right? But so why? So we've got like this example, which doesn't relate to any of this, all the way at the bottom when we've got like so much stuff at the top as well. So that seems like an easy win. So so let's do that. So all we're going to do is edit the source file. No, not YAML, HTML. Give myself the right amount of room here. There we go. So we just need to find this example and move it up. The dialogue box. This dialog box. It helps if I use the right wording. So it's basically this. Oh, my editor things aren't working. Yeah, so it's basically this. We're going to delete and we're going to move it up. That's pretty much exactly what Dominic said, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Exciting. So these are all the algorithms. There's like loads of algorithms. I think we want to be here. So that's the first change, literally copy and paste it a little bit. Let's open another terminal and we're going to do the old build, and we'll pull up a different, like we'll pull up the local build. I wonder if there are any other examples. No, that is the only example that's out of order of the rest of them. So let's open the local multi-page, the dialog. So what we've done here is literally moved a div. Now, the dialog element. We should verify it. Maybe give it a little read to make sure it makes sense, but this looks good to me. So I think we've done one change here, right? I know this is probably pretty basic for some people, but my hope is people are watching this and being like, this is so basic I could do this, and then we would have more contributors to the HTML standard. You could literally find an issue, like go to the HTML issues, find one labeled good first issue, click in it, and it will outline some steps to do the thing. And here is one of the things, and we've done one. So let's add this. Let's give this a name. Editorial. Move dialog examples to preamble. That's one PR. One in the bag. I want to see what Copilot's going to suggest for me. This editorial change. Come on, Copilot. Do the thing. You tried. That was the important bit. Cool. One PR done. It also suggests that we add an HR, but there's also other HRs around, and so what I would like to do is do this as one individual PR, I think, because we can explain this easily in one PR, right? We're adding some HRs. The DOM intro block for API would be this, I believe. And so I think what Dominic's suggesting here is that the preamble should actually exist before any specifications. And so what we can do is, like, possibly one PR can lift this is to move the DOM intro, which is this whole section, down below an HR, below the preamble, and then maybe move the methods up with that. Or, as I say, we can introduce the HRs as a more general sweep. So let's move the DOM intro down. I believe it's this. I don't know if there's... Oh, it's this. The class DOM intro. It says dialog show. What is this? this. Okay, so this needs to be moved up then. I thought this was the DOM intro, but I'm mistaken. So we want to move this up further to above the open attribute. That seems reasonable. Which is this whole section. Now we need to be a little careful here because some of these sections are in no dev sections, and so there's a special mode in the HTML standard, and you can turn it on and it just gets rid of a lot of stuff. It hides all the no dev bits. I can't remember how to get to it. At any rate, we want this to be here, I believe is the ask. I think you can do question mark no dev, if I remember rightly. No. It mentions it in the spec somewhere. Oh, /dev. So presumably we can get to where is interactive elements, the dialogue element. Yeah, so this is the section I'm referring to. So it cuts out a lot of other stuff. So you may notice we don't have any of the. If we go to the dialogue element and we compare these side by side, so we don't have any of the tables and stuff like. Where's the particular table? Like this DOM interface, it just links it, but it doesn't actually give you any further information about the interface. And then similarly, I think all of the tables go. Oh, maybe they don't. But yeah, I don't know who actually uses this. I don't know what it's useful for. I thought it was for like implementers. I thought it cut out a lot of the non-normative stuff, but I think it's the opposite. I think it leaves all the non-normative stuff in. Maybe it's for just people who wish to read it like a manual. So the change that we've made is we just shoved this up into this preamble, which I think is fine. So editorial, remove dialogue, DOM intro, example, DOM intro to preamble. Need to add the actual thing. And of course we need to say this depends on this. Depends on this. DOM intro section. . What is next? So all the methods show modal. So show modal. We've got this weird set the dialog close watcher, retrieve the dialog's computed state, focus steps, removal steps, then the close method. So one change will be moving the close method and the request close method, which is this. Moving these two. Need to grab the white space as well. So we're going to move those two up. This is that was set the dialog close watcher, and then we have show modal. So set the dialog close watcher. We want these close and request close up here. Move dialog close, request close underneath show modal. So this is a pretty isolated PR, just shoves those up there. So this one's going to say something like this editorial PR, refs, moves, and request close underneath. There's another PR. Done. So if we check out the prior branch, the DOM intro we then had this toggle task tracker, queue an element task, toggle task tracker, and then show. So I think this is one of the algorithms that we can think about moving. If we go back to this, I think they would go in concepts. Pointer down, close watcher, request close, return value, enable close watcher, is modal, previously focused element. These are all the concepts. So every dialog has a toggle task tracker, is one of these, I believe. Even though it's not mentioned here, because the other ones, close watcher, wait, does dialog mention it has a close watcher? It should say every dialog has a close watcher. There we go. Each dialog element has a close watcher. Each document has a dialog pointer down target. Each dialog element has a close watcher. Each dialog element has a request return value. Each dialog element has an enable close watcher. Each dialog is modal. So I think this is in order. However, there was one that we just saw that was at the top of this, and I'm misremembering what it was. It was in the... Whoops. It's down here. Every dialog element has a toggle task tracker. Should not be here. It should be each dialog. Each dialog element has a dialog toggle task tracker, which is a toggle task tracker or null, initially null, which is exactly the same as this. So I think this belongs down here. That can just be one PR, because that's small enough and isolated enough. Editorial group dialog member variables. Let's try and rebase against origin just to get rid of other that rebase successfully. I'd like this to be an isolated PR so we don't hit rebase errors. So we're literally just moving another thing here. So this editorial PR, which references, moves the, what was this even? Dialog toggle task tracker member to its other member siblings and rewords them to be similar. Others say each dialog, the dialog toggle task tracker, saying every document. Cool. We've done another PR. So I think the concepts are all pretty nicely grouped, and there is an HR here. And there is an HR here. And so then the next bit, I don't know why this just lost syntax, but yeah. So the next bit would be, well, there's attributes, which probably need to be moved up, or properties. So we could coalesce all the properties above this HR, which might actually get us to another isolated diff. And then it says all the algorithms would go below this. So let's do that. Let's take these. Move them above this HR. And then we will also look for the others. So there's this one. There is this one. And then that's it. fact, that was details element. If I read properly, I would have discovered that. So return value closed by open are all above this HR. I think that's it. That's the only change. So let's see what that looks like. So reorder dialog properties to be above member variables. We'll try and rebase this one. Yeah. Oh, it did rebase properly. I thought it was complaining. Cool. Well, I'll push this up then. So we have another PR. So this literally just takes this return value, shoves it in here, and it takes these two and shoves them up there. And so they're all grouped. And so I will put that in the PR description. This editorial PR, which refs this issue, moves the properties return value closed by open to be adjacent, or to be grouped together, and to sit above the concepts section. Cool. Another PR in the bag. I'm not seeing these. There we go. So given that these two HRs actually already exist, we still haven't done this HR. So maybe what I will do is let's look at our branches. We had one that was the DOM intro. Go to the polls. Dialog DOM intro into the preamble. I'm going to check this out. What? I accidentally did some commits on top of that branch. So we're just going to bang an HR there, I reckon. That was what was suggested. Stick an HR, then the DOM intro block. Whoops. So I think that's okay. Add an HR. Let's double check I'm not going to be pushing up a bunch of... might move dialogue into preamble, yeah. Cool. So the more complex one, and I'm hesitant to touch this, is all the algorithms, just because they will end up probably requiring heavy rebasing. But we got time, so let's just do it. So we've got the DOM intro. Open attribute closed by... What is this? This steps. Wait, where's the DOM intro end? Oh, maybe it's here. Closed by attributes invalid. Auto state. Dialog element without an open. Specify blah blah blah. Remove the open attribute blah blah blah. tab index must not be specified. Every dialog element, right? So to queue a toggle task event, it's an algorithm. That we should move all the way down. Like even further down here. No, that's the script element. Find the nearest clicked dialog. Run light dismiss activities. Dialog light dismiss subsection. I don't know if we need the dialog light dismiss subsection. Closed by and open. Try to find where this. So here. So these are okay. So these were the attributes. So we want to be here. So dialog toggle event task is not null. What was this? So this is to queue. I don't really like the heading here, but I'm going to leave it for now. So now we just need to look for other algorithms, and maybe it's worth just reading the actual rendered spec. In which case, let's do a build. So we've got like the DOM intro. These attributes get moved anyway, I think, right? Maybe I didn't move this one. Now I'm getting a bit lost. Properties to be above member variables. I don't think I moved. I moved return value. I removed closed by. And I removed, oh, because these are all the IDL reflections. But the attributes, I wonder if Dominic has mentioned about the attributes. No. I think the attributes, content attributes, should probably go above the properties. So we need to look at that. So this moved the properties below the methods, I guess. Yeah, that doesn't track for me though, because if I recall, a lot of the specs for these I have opinions here, and I'm not sure. I think that the content attributes and the IDL reflections should go closer to the DOM interface. Because like, yeah, you jump a huge section. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but if we were to look at something like the details element, so there's a load of preamble. Then there's wait, the content attributes are specified. after the preamble. Then members, then algorithms. Let's see summary. Yeah, I mean summary is small enough, it doesn't really matter. There may be more to this ordering. I would go so far as to... This feels very C++y. Like concepts, aka member variables, all go to the bottom, where the public API is right at the top, and the algorithms, you know, algorithms and member variables are private in C++, and so we're mirroring that in the spec, that this all goes in the private, which is typically you put the private below the public in C++ files. These are all public. So we've got like an HR, the public API, an HR member variables, an HR private API. Which is fine. So in the spirit of that though, the content attributes are part of the public API. So I do think that they should possibly go above methods. Although if the properties are here, they could go below methods but above properties, and that might make the most sense. So if that's the case, the open content attribute and the closed by content attribute. Should both be we need that as well. The auto state, does it say no? No. Every dialog element has task tracker, that's the algorithm for that. Set, show, turn value, show close verb, no. So properties, did we do a pull request with the properties? Reorder properties. 6. Well, I guess the line numbers are useless. Document. So it's above the HR in div no dev. However, these reflections are not. These reflections are part of. This. Like we still have the table in the no dev section, right? Wherever it is. This is details. I want to click dialog. Yeah. So this is the stuff in my clipboard that I'm about to move. But this is in no dev. So we want to be outside of that no dev div, wherever that was, here. So we want these here. Dialog open. Dialog closed by. These should all be above here, I believe. Let's run a build and we'll see. So dialog element, you get the like base table, the preamble, developer docs. This is more kind of generic. Like none of this is, I think, strictly normative. I guess this is all like conformance with for developers. This gets moved, so then we go straight into the methods. Show modal. We're gonna have close and close by as well here. Then we want to the removal steps probably needs to be moved as well. So when dialog is subject to be closed. So then we have this return value IDL, which is in a weird place as well. Right, and then it's the open attributes. Yeah. And then, yeah. I think this makes sense. This definitely does not make sense in here anymore, but Dominic's also got a note to move that anyway. Note discussing. So I think this makes sense as a change to move the content attribute stuff down. So we've got the open attribute and the close by attribute, and then the member variables. And I like this because I mean, I would almost prefer this to be closer to this table because they're related, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Okay, so this is a PR. So this moves content attributes above properties. Commit editorial. Move dialog content attributes. See if we can rebase and get rid of all of this and see if that, yeah, that didn't rebase cleanly. So we're going to reapply this change. Whoops. So the open attribute or closed by attribute. No. Where is it? This. Right, so we've got the open and the closed by. This whole section needs to move. There was a no dev here. We want to be here. Yeah. Cool. So we got another PR. So to review, we're taking this whole chunk of content attribute specification and moving it down. Pretty simple, but you know, it's all. I'm trying to keep all these PRs very simple. This editorial PR refs this issue, moves content attributes down to where properties will be defined around the same area as the concepts below methods. Sweet. Let's take stock of where we are then. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 PRs. So the first one is pretty simple. We take this section and we move it up. as specified in this issue. The second one, we take this section and we move it up, and then we also slap an HR at the top somewhere. No, we slap an HR here. This one, we group some of these methods, which pretty much is just one move, which is moving the close method steps to where the other methods are. This one, we take some of the member variables, so namely this toggle task tracker, and move it down to where all the other member variables are. This one, reorder dialog properties to be above the member variables. So we had the return value, we had the closed by, and we had the open IDL reflections or IDL mappings. All of those was kind of sporadic and around the spec, and we've moved them into one section, which is just above the member variables. And so these are like the this is part of the public API. And then the last one is to take the other part of the public API, which is the content attributes, and move them just above the IDL mappings, I guess. I think that's a good pass on this. I don't think it fixes this, but I think we're getting into the realm where any more work here will start to cause rebase issues. And even merging all of these, I think I'm going to have to rebase some of these as they get merged. And I don't want to be in rebase hell. The HTML spec is particularly gnarly because, like, trying to rebase HTML is just never fun. Trying to rebase HTML in an 8,000 line file is especially not fun. But I think we're in a good place. And I think this does the majority of this. If you have been watching this and you think this was dry but and uninteresting because it was very trivial and I was doing a bunch of trivial work, fantastic. Please come and help. Please do these kind of changes. There's a good first issue label. You can do this kind of work, right? Like if you're into coding, you saw I just moved stuff around. I don't think I changed one word from every to each, but that was it. Like, there are loads of good first issues, right? Like this one, or like this one. Check these out. Some of these are going to be quite simple to resolve, but they're kind of intentionally left for folks to make these PRs. This one in particular, I think, could be a really good one for folks to cut their teeth on editing. There's also another one which I believe I raised, which I now cannot find. Maybe it doesn't have a... This should be good first issue. Okay, here is one that is would be a great way to introduce yourself to the HTML spec. If you find a state, so attr something dash state with a lowercase. Unfortunately, my case is my search is not case insensitive, but like this line here, this says the attr popover none state, right? And this says no popover state. This should be title case, so you just need to go in and say something like this, right? And that's one PR. Let's find another one here. Each of these in the fetch priority, the ones that end in dash state, they need to be cased. So they all need to be title cased. So this is the PR, right? That's it. You can go in and look for the other ones, the fetch priority ones. So if we go in, if we do this search again, but with fetch priority here, you can see this needs to be auto as well. And you can just go in and just change, like, what's that, 5 letters in a diff? Let's go look at the diff. Where is the diff? Did I not write? I didn't write. I'm a dummy. That took a second to write. Wait, what is going on? Why is this? Oh, right, yeah. So ignoring this change, this is the change that needs to be made. Yeah. This is a tiny change, but all of these tiny changes add up to a very healthy specification. So look, if you're interested in doing this work and getting some practice on spec editing, this is a great change to make. I'll step off my pedestal now and go back to work, I think. But if you've been watching, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time, maybe tomorrow, for more HTML hacking.